What's poppin', y'all? Yo, people say money is the root of all evil. I think it's because back then in biblical times, they did not have clout. Clout is the biggest silent killer of this generation because DDG is overdosing on clout right now. He just put out a clip threatening blog pages if they don't speak about him in a way that he deems to be appropriate. Let me run you guys the clip real quick.
Nah, I'm finna start suing these because at this point, this is just, it's causing emotional distress.
Shazam!
I can't deal with it no more. So all these blog pages that continue to push these narratives about me, I'm gonna start sending out cease and desist, and I will sue you. I have the money to do so, and I know you don't have the money to defend yourself. I will sue you. Okay, if you do not abide by my paperwork that will be sent to you, okay? I will sue you. I don't give a if you gotta cheese it and a penny in your pocket. I want it. I would spend $30,000 to get that cheese it and that penny out your pocket. All right, send that to all the blogs. Okay, all right, it's on the way. Okay, you boys getting sued. Yeah.
So the way that this started is hilarious. Number one, we're going to get into why this is a terrible, terrible idea, and it has never worked in the past. We're going to get into that later. But how did this all start? Well, it started by DDG with a Father's Day post on Twitter. He said, "Happy Father's Day to all the active dads worldwide." And this is I wouldn't say it's going to drum up controversy, but it's going to drum up conversation because DDG doesn't get to see his son on Father's Day. His son, Halo, that he had with Halle Bailey, the Disney star. She's a musician / singer too, but really she's more of an actress in the past 5 or so years. And what happens? An account called Pop Tings that posts about pop culture quote tweets him and says, "So not you?" And I know that this had to pierce DDG through the heart because this is one of the most vicious, ruthless, just absolute destructive ratios I've ever seen. Like, this is DDG's original tweet got 37K likes. This quote tweet got 190,000 likes and 8.2 million views. Now, I know a lot of people, me personally, I don't care about a damn ratio. Like, what the hell? I really don't. I think the whole concept is quite stupid. It's like, hey, a bunch of other people agree with me, so you're wrong. Yeah, that's worked very well in the past. Also, if someone's got a more active community on social media, they're going to ratio you anyway. Regardless, the reason why I bring this up is because DDG worships the altar of clout and money. But I would say he cares a lot more about clout than money. And I would venture as far as to say that the clout is tied to the money for DDG. Like, his whole career has been about clout. Or his whole career, the more popular he got, the more clout he got, the more money he got. So there's like this one-to-one relation. They're moving in a parallel line. In a linear well, not linear, because there have been times where he's dipped. And his response to this was, "You a wannabe pop base. You're irrelevant. I can cash app you the worth of this page. Your dad hasn't been active since you came out the closet, and that's not right. I support the LGBT community." This is just verbal diarrhea. Like, what is... We don't even know if the person running this is a girl, if it's a boy, if it's a man, if it's a woman. What does him coming out the closet have to do with his dad? We don't even know if the person or her dad. And then he says, like, "I support the LGBT community." Like, what is this? I just don't even get it. And even DDG's own fans, like, they're in the comments like, "Yo, you're embarrassing, dog." And somebody says, "You're asking to get ratioed again." And then, well, you know what happens next? He says, he or she says, "Not I hit a nerve," crying emoji, and he gets ratioed again, this time with 153,000 likes. Yo, it's bad. And then how does DDG respond to this? He goes on to say, "Somebody find that Pop Tings email. I'm finna have my lawyer write up something." And they just gave him the email. But this is loser activity. Now, You know how a lot of people, when DDG first started rapping, they were like, man, this guy's corny. This guy's lame. Some people say, like, yo, money really amplifies who you are. Listen, we are happy for DDG's success. Like, I'm happy for DDG's success. Like, the guy got it out the mud. He was a clown in streaming. And Bruce Drop Him Off was clowning him. And not because his streams were clownish or because his behavior was clownish. It was the fact that his numbers weren't hitting. And this was somebody that talked about numbers a lot. And at the time, like, if you think about who was popping on YouTube in the era of DDG, how many of them are still here? Not only that, how many of them are more popular than they have ever been? Currently, DDG is the most popular that he's ever been in history, for better or for worse. And I know he loves that. So for him to see himself get ratioed like this, it's got to hurt him. And it's just some random faceless account, it's really got to hurt him. But to react, and then he brings money into the conversation where it's like, what does money have to do with anything? Like, they're talking about, they're cracking jokes. So for you to sue somebody for cracking jokes when you do the same thing, you've done the same thing, is just lame. And I think it's because DDG's got this lawyer on retainer, so they're depleting him. And he's just like, yo, how do I get this legal team to do other stuff for me so I can justify paying them the amount that I'm paying them per month? But this isn't going to work out in his favor, because the fact that this got so many likes means that there are a lot of people that don't mess with DDG. And or not don't mess with him, but they find it funny to laugh at his situation. Maybe they do think he's a deadbeat. Whatever the case may be, there's a lot of people that don't like him. But if he starts throwing cease and desist, the people do not mess with this. DDG, yeah, you got money, but what's money compared to a digital army? Like, you don't know. Like, people will raise hell on your life. People will run down on you in real life, not like harming you physically, but they'll heckle you. They'll be in your streams. They'll be in your comment sections. They'll heckle your family because you silencing people hate this. If you're a public figure and you receive some criticism, and in this case, they're not slandering DDG. This page is not slandering him. They're just like, oh, so not you? They're not saying, oh, DDG chose not to visit his son Halo because he would rather, I don't know, he would rather stream or something like that. And even that wouldn't necessarily be slander or something that people would find you justified in taking down. Like, for instance, if they said, like, yo, DDG like punched his kid, that's a different story. I think people would be willing to say, oh, okay, like, yo, you can't just post outright fake news about the guy. But for this, for a little old joke, you just hurt and in your feelings. And even when rappers do this who are liked, people don't mess with it. And they're like, yo, what's going on with that? Like, T Grizzly had a situation with the YouTuber, which I think is far more nuanced than what's going on with DDG right now. It's also happened in the past where a certain lawyer was taking down videos on this rapper by the name of Tokyo's Revenge. If you know, you know. If you remember that era, people did not mess with that. And what have we seen from Tokyo's Revenge? Nothing. We haven't seen it. He disappeared into obscurity. Don't know where he's at. Don't know what he's doing. Crazy thing is, his music is still streaming, which just goes to show, if you can just have a run of 6 to 9 months in this music game, you can really set yourself up for life. Like, that guy hasn't dropped since, well, he started dropping some songs here and there. I think they were features, but that guy hasn't dropped a project since 2020, and he's still making a bag, especially if he's independent. I don't know, but yeah, that whole situation. So DDG, this is not a good look, but it just goes to show, like, yo, the DDG of last year, would he be behaving like this? I don't think so. The DDG of last 6 months wouldn't be behaving like this. So the power, not really, he doesn't really have power. The clout and the perceived power that he believes he has because of this clout and this money that he now has, he's trying to leverage it to what? Do what you're saying Rock Nation is doing to you. So you're saying Rock Nation is trying to come after you, and they're trying to slander you, and they're trying to silence you. Meanwhile, you're using the same money that you have, which is albeit far, far, far less, to try and do it to a page that's cracking jokes and just giving people pop updates. Really? You could have just ignored it because people, your fans, don't care about this. And just because you're lit doesn't mean that everybody's on your side. Like, you're lit for entertainment, which is different than when you were lit for vlogs. Like, when you were vlogging, people really, really wanted you to win. Now it's a mixture of they want to see you entertain them. But if you're waving around like money in particular, because a lot of the people that watch you, they don't have money. They're normal people. So you start throwing it around like, yo, you're broke. I could buy you. I could do this. Like, I'm just going to sue you for whatever you have. Nah, that's not going to fly. Because we saw the lawsuit actually pan out with a creator and a popular person, which was Cardi B. And what this individual did was actually put out fake, harmful, damaging stuff. Not emotional distress because I got ratioed and they called me a bad father. Like, really? That lady, Tasha K, was saying that Cardi B had an STD. And Cardi B asked her to remove it multiple times. And she kept doubling down and tripling down on putting out that fake news with no proof. And then the lawsuit happened. And that took who knows how many years. DDG's not going through all that. DDG can't afford to go through all that for that many years. He's got to handle trying to get his son back. So I think this was whack by DDG. But this behavior is... he's exhibiting this behavior a lot more. There's another video that I'm about to make where he doesn't do a similar thing to here, but you're like, yo, this guy's talking a lot different than he was talking 6 months ago. And the only thing that's changed is the clout and maybe some more money. Well, a lot more money. But it's the clout that's skyrocketed. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see you on the next one.